The late 9th century Europe trembles as Viking longships slice through the waves. Their name is whispered in fear: Vikings, dragons of the sea bringing fire and fury to coastal towns and rivers. But they were more than raiders, explorers, traders, poets, and fierce warriors. Their impact on Europe was immense, reshaping borders and societies. Out of this chaos, one name rises: Rollo. His story is foundational, a tale of transformation. From feared pagan raider to Christian duke, Rollo's journey is epic. He sought more than plunder, he wanted a kingdom, a legacy. His ambition matched the vast oceans he sailed. Rollo's deeds are etched in the chronicles of Viking chieftain destined for greatness. He laid the groundwork for Normandy, a duchy that would change Europe forever. His descendants include William the Conqueror, yes, that William. Why does Rollo's story grip us? Because it's about change, ambition, and the forging of a dynasty. The Viking sagas tell of gods and heroes, but Rollo's saga is one of real transformation. From outsider to founder, he bridged two worlds. Normandy's story begins here with Rollo at its heart. The journey from raider to ruler is a legend of the Viking Age, and it all starts with Rollo. Where did Rollo come from? Historians still debate, Norwegian or Danish. The sagas speak of Hrolfr, a powerful warrior from a noble family, possibly son of Ragnvald Eysteinsson. Life in Scandinavia was harsh. Long winters, scarce resources, and a culture that bred resilience. Young men sought fame and fortune through daring deeds and loyalty to their chieftain. The sea was their highway, calling the brave and restless. Overpopulation, internal conflicts, and ambitious chieftains drove the Viking expansion. Their secret weapon, the longship, fast, shallow, perfect for ocean and river raids. The first Viking raids shocked Europe. Monasteries like Lindisfarne were prime targets. The Vikings struck with terrifying speed, looting treasures and burning settlements. This was the world Rollo was born into, a world of opportunity and danger. He was shaped by this environment, destined to rise above the rest. The Viking Age was a time of boldness, and Rollo would soon dominate it. He was not just a product of his time, he was a force that would shape it. Rollo's roots were deep in the traditions of the North, but his ambitions reached far beyond. Rollo's early years were spent mastering the Viking way: steel, navigation, and command. He was a giant among men, so large he earned the nickname Rollo the Walker. His physical presence inspired loyalty and fear, but legend says exile changed everything. Banished from Norway by King Harald Fairhair for defying royal decrees, exile wasn't an end, but a new beginning. Rollo gathered a warband of restless warriors, becoming an independent chieftain. He turned his gaze south toward richer, divided lands: England, Scotland, Ireland, and Francia. The exile became a predator, seeking a new domain. Rollo's saga was just beginning, his ambition undimmed. He was no longer just a raider, he was a leader with a vision. His legend grew, and so did his following. Rollo's journey from exile to conqueror would define his legacy. He was ready to carve out a kingdom of his own. The stage was set for Rollo's rise. As an independent force, Rollo's raiding career took him across Scotland, Ireland, and England. He mastered coastlines and river mouths, perfecting the art of swift, calculated attacks. Rollo's reputation spread. He was a fearsome leader with a powerful fleet and loyal warriors. He was cunning, strategic, and inspired his men to fight with ferocity. But raiding wasn't enough. Rollo wanted something permanent. Vikings were settling in England and Ireland. Why not in fertile Francia? The kingdom of West Francia was wealthy, but fractured its rivers' highways for Viking longships. Paris had already been besieged. Rollo saw opportunity. He set his sights on the Siene, aiming for a destiny greater than any raider before him. Rollo's ambition grew. He wanted to hold land, not just loot it. He established a semi-permanent presence near Rouen, controlling access to the river. His name became synonymous with Viking might. The Franks faced a new kind of threat, a Viking leader who wanted to rule, not just raid. Rollo's command on the waves was just the beginning. He was ready to challenge kingdoms. The Seine would be his path to power. Rollo focused his energies on West Francia, a kingdom in turmoil, its rulers weak and nobles rebellious. He exploited this weakness, making the Seine his primary theater of operations. His longships became a dreaded sight, raiding Rouen and pushing inland. Rollo's warriors were relentless, establishing bases and wintering in Francia. This was no longer hit and run, it was a campaign of conquest. The Franks tried to resist fortified bridges, armies, and Danegeld payments, but the Vikings kept coming, draining the kingdom's resources. Rollo established a stronghold near Rouen, becoming a de facto ruler. He controlled the river, launching raids at will. The Frankish king, Charles the Simple, faced an intolerable situation. Rollo was more than a raider, he was a ruler in all but name. The kingdom was bleeding, desperate for a solution. Something drastic had to be done. The stage was set for a historic negotiation. Rollo's presence forced the Franks to rethink their strategy. The future of Francia and Normandy hung in the balance. King Charles the Simple made a radical choice: negotiate with Rollo, the Viking warlord. The idea: offer land for peace, turning an enemy into a defender. In 911 AD at St. Clair-sur-Epte, the historic meeting took place. Rollo and his Norsemen received land around Rouen, the birth of Normandy, land of the Northmen. In return, Rollo agreed to stop raiding and defend the kingdom against other Vikings. He was baptized, taking the Christian name Robert, and according to some sources married Charles's daughter. Rollo swore fealty to the king, becoming his vassal. A famous story tells of Rollo refusing to kiss the king's foot, a sign of Viking pride. One of his warriors did it instead, toppling the king. This treaty was unprecedented: a Viking chieftain, now a Christian lord. Rollo's transformation was complete. Normandy was born from negotiation, not conquest alone. The Franks gained a shield, Rollo gained a kingdom. The Viking age in Francia had changed forever. Rollo's legacy as founder of Normandy began here. With the treaty signed, Rollo, now Robert, became the first ruler of Normandy. He faced a new challenge: turning warriors into settlers, forging a new society. Rollo established order, balancing Norse followers and the local population. He enacted laws, encouraged settlement, and fortified his territory. Normandy became a fusion of Norse and Frankish cultures. Marriages, language, and customs blended. Rollo adopted Frankish institutions, but kept Norse traditions alive. He was a pragmatist, building a powerful duchy from scratch. Other Viking bands still threatened Normandy, testing Rollo's loyalty to the king. Frankish nobles were wary, but Rollo ruled with a firm hand. He secured Normandy for himself and his descendants. His warrior instinct served him well in state building. A new Norman identity emerged. Dynamic, resilient, and ambitious, Rollo's rule laid the foundations for a principality that would shape Europe. He proved that a Viking could become a statesman. Normandy thrived under his leadership. Rollo's transformation was now Normandy's destiny. Rollo ruled Normandy until his death around 930 AD, transforming himself and his people. His son, William Longsword, continued building the Norman state. Rollo's dynasty became resilient and ambitious, no longer just Vikings but Normans. Normandy flourished, becoming a powerful principality in medieval Europe. Its dukes were renowned warriors and administrators. The fusion of Norse vitality and Frankish organization created a potent force. Norman knights gained fame across Christendom. The duchy became a launchpad for conquests that changed history. Rollo's most famous descendant, William the Conqueror, who launched the Norman conquest of England in 1066. The English monarchy traces its lineage back to Rollo, Rollo's legacy, from raider to royalty, shaping nations for centuries. He was more than a Viking. He was a founder and visionary. Rollo bridged two worlds, creating something new and powerful. The story of Rollo, first Duke of Normandy, still echoes through history.